Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Anyway, I promise I'm wearing a shirt. I think you cannot see like the bottom, so it looks kind of weird, but I wanted to have a little rainbow moment for you guys, okay? I have yet to wear this outside into the world because of COVID, and every time I go out it's like I'm on a mission every time, so I'm not gonna be wearing a one shoulder moment, okay? I'm gonna be rocking some mom jeans, a t-shirt, and Skechers. Maybe some Nike sometimes, okay? But like Skechers are my go-to. Like the slip-on ones. I am 30 years old. I'm excited about Skechers. But I'm not a regular 30-year-old. I'm a cool 30-year-old. That just made me so uncool. Anyway, today I'm going to be reading some spooky tales from the Scary for Kids website. Again, I'm going to be leaving the link in the description below. Also, I'm a little terrified because this is the picture. Do you see her? I've seen somebody like that in my mom's house. Don't look at me. Anyway, I have not read any of these stories, so remix. We're gonna be reading these together, okay? Let's get started. This girl is spooky AF. Like, I've always wanted to be in a scary movie, but I have this thing where I feel like if somebody puts me in a scary movie, I will not be acting. I will actually be scared. Even though I'm fully aware that whoever is like playing this creepy thing is a human with like FX makeup, no, I will be scared still. I do not care. So maybe you'll get the best acting out of me because it won't be acting. Anyway, today I'm going to be reading some spooky tales, so let's get started. Did I hit that? No. Okay guys, this first story is called The Rusty Scissors. Last year, I was flying home from a business trip when my plane was delayed in an unfamiliar city. Forced to spend the night there, I searched online and booked a cheap hotel that was close to the airport. When I arrived at the hotel, I was disappointed by how dirty and shabby it was. I thought about trying to find another hotel, but everything was fully booked that weekend. When I got to my room, there was a heavy, unpleasant smell in the air. The whole atmosphere felt stifling and cold. I pulled back the bedclothes and found something strange on the sheets beneath. It was a rusty pair of metal scissors. Ugh, this is terrible, I said to myself. The maid hasn't even bothered to clean the room properly. I picked them up in disgust and placed them on the bedside table. I was so tired that I couldn't stay awake. I went to bed and decided I would complain about the scissors in the morning. Lying between the dirty sheets, I closed my eyes and tried to fall asleep. In the middle of the night, I had an unusual dream. I felt a heavy weight pressing down on me, and I got the strangest feeling that someone was watching me. I'm not sure what time I woke up, but the room was still pitch black. When I reached out and switched on the bedside lamp, my hair stood on the end. The rusty scissors were lying on my chest, and the blades were closed on either side of my neck, digging into the skin. One more inch and the scissors would have cut my throat. No thank you. Is it just me that does not feel comfortable staying alone at a hotel or a motel or anywhere? Like if I go somewhere, someone has to be with me if I'm staying in a hotel. I will not stay in a hotel by myself. Heck no. Unless I had to, but like what situation would that be in? Let's not find out. Okay guys, this next story is called Shadow in the Fog. When I was in elementary school, my father would often take me hiking on the mountains. One night, we'd stayed out too long and it began to grow dark. A thick fog drifted over the hillside and we could barely see the path in front of us. My father was holding my hand to make sure I didn't fall. As we made our way down the slope, I noticed a small, shadowy figure appearing out of the mist of the path up ahead. My father suddenly squeezed my hand very tightly. "Ow, Dad, that hurts," I cried. My father looked down on me. His face was grim. "Close your eyes," he barked, "and don't open them again until I say so." His tone of voice was so stern that I did as I was told without questioning it. He kept a tight grip on my hand, and with eyes tightly shut, I stumbled along beside him through the fog. When we passed the spot where the shadowy figure had been, I heard a small voice muttering, "Die, die, die, die." The rest of the way down, my father was silent, and it wasn't until we got back home that he finally allowed me to open my eyes. Since that time, he refused to speak about the incident. 20 years later, I paid my father a visit. He was drinking some alcohol, and we were having a heart-to-heart conversation. Something reminded me of the strange incident on the mountain path, and I decided to ask him about it. "Remember that small shadowy figure in the fog?" I said. "Who was it?" My father was silent for quite a while, and eventually, in a low voice, he replied, "It was you." With that, he refilled his glass and refused to discuss it any further. What? What? Thoughts? Please, comment down below thoughts. What the F? Okay guys, this next story is called The Red Bag. There was a young girl whose parents didn't have very much money. She was the youngest of 3 sisters, and she always had to use hand-me-downs from her siblings. All of her clothes were worn and threadbare because they were second-hand. Even the red bag she brought to school every day was torn and tattered. The girl asked her mom to buy her a new bag, but her mother said it was impossible. They just couldn't afford it. One day, the girl was walking down the street and she spotted a shiny new red school bag lying in the grass by the side of the road. Looking inside, she found that it didn't have any name on it, and she wondered who it belonged to. Suddenly, the girl thought, "This bag must be a gift from God." The girl took the red bag home and hid in the room. She was worried that if her mom saw it, she would tell her to bring it back. In the middle of the night, while her mother was fast asleep, the girl got up and transferred the contents of her old bag into the new one. "Tomorrow I will go to school with a new red bag," she said to herself. Suddenly, the red school bag began to move, and it started biting the girl's feet. She was so shocked that she couldn't cry out, and the pain caused her to faint. When the mother went into her room the next day, the girl was nowhere to be seen. All that remained was one shiny red bag with no name on the inside. I'm so glad I could not fit into a backpack, okay? Because what is up with that? This next story is called Photos from the School Trip. When I was in 6th grade, our entire class was on a school trip. All of the kids in the class were taking pictures with cameras and phones. When we returned to school, we were browsing through the photographs when all of a sudden one girl said, "Oh my God, what's that?" Everyone scrambled to see what she was looking at. In the photograph, one of the boys in our class was sitting on the bus. There didn't seem to be anything strange about the picture until you looked very closely at his reflection in the window. His face in the reflection looked as if it was yellow and bulging, bubbling and mutating, and there appeared to be a strange white shape floating beside him. When you turned the picture upside down, you realized it was a skull, and it was horrific. When the boy saw the photograph of himself, he burst into tears and had a panic attack. Everyone else in the class began to freak out. The teacher had to send the boy to the school nurse, and the principal banned all of us from speaking about the strange photo. Everyone was scared. 7 days later, the boy died of a brain tumor. Whoa. Okay guys, this last story is called The Storage Room. When my father retired from his job, he had a lot of time on his hands. He began looking around for something to occupy himself. "The space at the end of the hallway is such a waste," he said. "We could turn it into a storage room." My father was like a man possessed, and he spent 2 days working on his new project. He hung 2 shelves on the wall and fitted a door, creating a small cupboard at the end of the hallway. When I came home the next day, he was nowhere to be seen, and I noticed that there was a shiny new padlock on the door of the storage room. The following evening, my father still hadn't returned. My mother was very anxious and begged me to look inside the storage room. Both of us were wondering what he was keeping in there. I broke the padlock and opened the door. Inside, we found my father sitting on the floor. His eyes were vacant, and he was laughing softly to himself. What was he doing? How did he lock the door from the inside? We never got an answer to our questions because my father had gone insane. Today, he is still alone in his storage room, staring into space and smiling happily to himself. What the F? That was a car. I got a little scared with that one. those were kind of creepy, and I hate when there's stories that like make you wonder and then leaves you with so many questions that you just want answers to, but like no one's gonna give you the answer, and you just have to like imagine what could have happened or what happened after, or what is going on. Anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this week's video. Please keep putting stories in the comments below, because my next video will be of me reading more of your comments. I'm thinking I'm just gonna make them all about my YouTube comments, like, and then on the next video I'll do all Instagram scary stories and then all TikTok. So if you have a story and you want me to read it, please comment it below, but don't rush, because you guys take your time, write it out so that we can all understand it and I can read it for you, because sometimes I feel like you guys rush and you misspell things, and then I have to assume what you're trying to say, and I don't want to assume, because then that's just me making up a story on your behalf, and that is not cool, okay? Anyway guys, I love you so much. Please leave me your stories and don't feel like you have to rush. I promise I will be looking at my comments throughout the week and just like screenshotting the ones that if I like your comment, that means I saved it. So don't freak out, because I'm trying to get through a lot of scary stories, and let me tell you guys, there is a lot. I have so many messages, like I don't know what to do, but I promise that I'll be reading as many as I can, so please do not give up on me, okay? Anyway guys, I love you so much.